Hi, and welcome to one of BMCC's library tutorials. This particular tutorial covers Google Scholar. Google Scholar, you may use, you may not have used. It's pretty cool. It's just a different version of Google, but it focuses on scholarly content. Kind of the research is scoped for, again, for scholars doing research or students doing research. So I just want to introduce you to some of the tips and tricks that you have in there. More and more libraries are connecting their resources to be able to be found within Google Scholar. We're not doing that here yet at BMCC. To be honest, it's a cost issue, but you might, say, find yourself going to OSU or, I don't know, University of Idaho or Stanford, wherever you end up, and you might find that you can connect your Google Scholar account with your library account. And it just gives you even more access. So there's a couple ways to get to Google Scholar. One is you can just go to scholar.google.com, but I did also provide a link directly to it here in our library databases page. In our library databases page, you may have been there, but I have, of course, top library databases. We have databases on a bunch of different subjects, but also formats. So if you're looking for streaming media, we have things for that. If you're looking for ebooks, we have that. And of course, Google Scholar, I have a link to that. This, of course, is a really quick tutorial, but this library also put together a really fun little tutorial on Google Scholar. You might want to watch that. Just some pros and cons. Google Scholar, well, it's easy to use. Most of us can type in Google and feel pretty comfortable with it. And it's easy to get to. You just go to scholar.google.com. You don't have to, browse through multiple levels. It's familiar, lots of results, and often things are freely available. So some of the cons compared to, say, a library database, sometimes too much information. It's still Google. You can always find something, right? It's a little bit less, a little bit less if it's a quality source or not. Google Scholar alleviates some of that, by doing that search there. You kind of get around that. They don't offer full text to the database. Sometimes, to the article. Sometimes you have to pay, and you can't narrow your results that well. So some pros and cons, but definitely a lot of folks like to use it. I like to use it. I use it all the time. So Google Scholar, the link's right here directly for you. But I want to point out really quickly is, as I mentioned, one of the cons is sometimes the resources you find in Google Scholar aren't available freely full text. If you find something you want and it's asking you to pay, don't pay for it. Don't do it. BMCC Library participates in what's called an interlibrary loan program. And if we don't have a book, an article, a resource, we can get it for you from another library. Especially articles are really easy. It takes about 2 business days. You would just email us, as you can see just at our library homepage, our library website. And we would put out the request to our library partners. They would email us a copy, usually PDF of the article, and then we would just email that PDF onto you. So great, free. It takes a couple days, so be mindful of that, but it's a great free resource. So Google Scholar. So there's a couple ways you can use Google Scholar. I'm not signed in, so I don't have a profile or anything set up yet. My library that's where you would go ahead. Again, say you're at OSU or something like that, and you would add a link to your library there. BMCC doesn't have that. Your profile, again, if you wanted to do that for your Google account. So you can start with a blank search, of course, or if you want to start with some different features right away, like narrowing it down and doing advanced search, you can do that. So if you wanted to make sure that your article had all the words, like every single word had to be there, of like, I'm going to say coral reefs. Bleaching, say I really wanted it had to be focused on that. You could do that. If you wanted it to, like, say, without the words, that sometimes is helpful. I sometimes struggle thinking of a good example, but let's say, I don't know, you want a bread recipe, but you want a bread recipe that doesn't include yeast. So you could type in, like, I don't know, whole wheat bread recipe, and without the words yeast, and maybe you could find some recipes that, you know what I mean. When you see it. If you really know an author that you're looking for, like say you read about this journal article and and you know the author of it, you have a citation, you want to find that person, maybe other things they wrote, you can limit to that person. And you can also limit to things like date. So if you know you want something published within the last few years, you could do that. You can also usually do all that after you've done that search. So you can see, for example, I actually did a topic on coral reef biodiversity a little bit earlier. So we'll just go ahead and click on my example there. Everything's your limits are still available to you, some of the most important ones. One is that, the custom date range. This is science. You might want to limit to the most recent few years, like say the 2018. And that cut down a few of our results. Actually cut out about 100,000 of our results. We still have a lot, right? Yeah, right now the sorting is by relevance. That's just how many times the word shows up. You can, it comes up in that kind of coral reef, the bold right here, right? How many times those phrases come up. You can sort by date, so if you want something, most recent to the oldest, you can do that. We can disinclude patents and citations. I don't think that would come up much with this topic. To creating an alert, you might find yourself using that more as you go on in school. Or maybe here too. You can create an alert for a subject area. So say you are in your senior year at OSU, you're working at the Hatfield Marine Center, and you're working on coral reef research. You could create this alert in every new article that's published on coral reef bleaching. It'll automatically be emailed to you. You never have to search again. It just does it for you, and you get updates. So it's really handy. There's some other features too, but we could look into some of those metrics. That usually is on the quality of the article and that sort of thing, but we won't get into that. So I guess I could choose settings. Settings usually how many articles results per page. I do have to say I do hate just having 10. And how do you like to have things set up? So anyway, we'll hit save. And so now it's just looking at some of these articles. So a lot of these articles, more and more are available through Google Scholar. That's really changing, but some are not. So read through the titles and see what's interesting to you. Kind of really note what's some of the language they're using. I typed in coral reef biodiversity, but you might find yourself saying, well, what happens if I type in coral reef ecosystem? What changes with my search? Are those different enough that it might actually get me closer to what I want, or just different information? But it's Google. You probably know how to use this. Just click on the title here, and we can look through. This looks like it. Surprise! It has usually. Look at this. Yeah, this is where they're asking you to buy it. So say you were really interested in using this. This is what you're interested in, a citizen science program to really transform, maybe not coral reefs, but just the idea of a citizen science program to do some sort of transformative work within your community. They're trying to make you pay for it. Don't do it. Again, email the library, take this information right up here. This is the journal title, the date, and the pages, and the article title. This is all we need, and send it to us. And again, we'll ask for it from another institution, and they'll send it back. So really great. Let's see. Check on the next one here. Sometimes I feel like when it says HTML, it's more likely available online. I don't know how predictable that is, but in this case, we can browse through, and yeah, it's kind of looking like the whole article's available right here, and even to the point where you can get it in a PDF. So in this case, this author was willing to release their information available freely, and again, more and more institutions are doing that. One thing to take a look at to verify is, it says proceedings of the Royal Society. Get a little bit more information from them. Usually proceedings are from the conference proceedings. Do some research if you're not sure about these authors. You can look them up a little bit, find out more about their background. This person looks like he's from the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology at the University of Hawaii. He's affiliated with the universities. Hopefully going to be pretty good, that sort of thing. But in that case, here's an article ready to go for you. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. So again, this might be all review, but maybe there's some new things that are helpful for you. Interlibrary Loan might be new for you, so I hope you know and take advantage of that service. So any questions you have with the library, hey, don't hesitate to ask. We're here to help. Okay, thank you.